Well, welcome. Here we are in Boise. Just landed here a few hours ago in our ongoing trip around the U.S. Nearing our conclusion of this journey. Started out in John Wayne, Orange County, KSNA. Went over to Vegas, Salt Lake City, Telluride, Albuquerque. Actually, Albuquerque, Telluride, Austin, Shreveport, Baton Rouge, Pensacola, Key West, Savannah, Newport News, Ithaca, Tower, Minnesota, little tiny airport out in the sticks, then a quick trip down to Duluth, and then today, 3.5 hour flight from Duluth out to Boise, where we are now. So we are going to head from Boise now to Medford, and we got everything preloaded. IFR flight plan, high altitude, 300 miles from Boise to Medford. Figuring about an hour or so. I am not a purist when it comes to all the engine starting procedures, so I'm a big fan of Control E. Big fan of Control E.
Departure frequency is 119.6
Alright, so we're clear to 11,000 feet on takeoff.
November 343 Whiskey Bravo cleared to Medford Airport as filed.
So I'm going to
take off runway 10 left climb and maintain 11,000 feet. Departure on 119.6
So one thing
Whiskey Bravo read back correct. Contact ground on 121.7. Boise ground, Dayer November 343 Whiskey Bravo requesting pushback.
No, skip the pushback there, Cochise. Pushback, stop.
Boise ground, Dayer November.
I mean, look in front of us. We got a football field in front of us. I don't need pushback, genius. Anyway, God, they never shut up. Now we gotta sit through all this crap now. I had to turn off ATC. I don't know why I screw around with it. Okay, thank you. Can I go now? Oh my God, this is painful. Alright, so what I do, you'll notice we were cleared to 11,000 feet, so I used the altitude select. Took us up to 11.5 because what I notice happens is that they inevitably, obviously, clear you to your eventual cruising altitude anyway, and it starts to level off at 11,000 instantaneously. They give you direction to continue climbing, and then you got to screw around with re-enabling the vertical speed component of the autopilot. So I don't mess around with that. I just, by doing it slightly above, you kind of jump the gun a little bit, but in a good way. So a few of the things I do before we get going here is set our altimeter. Let's check our ATIS. ATIS is, I think it's Automated Terminal Information System. Let's find out what our current altimeter is. Hello? I just tuned ATIS and nothing's happening. Alright. Well, that worked out. Okay. 123.90. I click on it, I'll have more luck. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I was attempting to determine current altimeter, but I'm going to use the more efficient method of determining our current altimeter, which is the B key. There. Current altimeter determined 30.01. I'll also turn off the angle of attack indicator because I find it basically useless. PFD map settings. Excuse me, PFD settings. Other PFD settings. AOA off. I would like to set wind, but it's still screwed up. Yeah. It's not accurate. The wind's not accurate, so I don't screw around with it. We'll also switch our PFD here nav source to FMS. See that pink line is consistent with the GPS course that we're going to use to fly there. We'll also switch this screen over to MFD, multifunction display, and set up our pressurization to auto. Check our lights. Taxi's fine. Nav and strobe. AP on. Fuel selection auto. And we are good to go now to taxi over to runway 10. They brought me in on 28 a few hours ago, which I thought was weird because the winds were out of the east, but what are you going to do? So let's zoom in a little bit more on this, just so we can kind of see where we're going as we taxi. And on this map, we'll zoom out to 10. There we go. Now 10 miles on that. Okay, so turn this off. And presumably we're still tuned to ground. Let's see, are we? 121.7. Make sure. Yes. Yes. All right, so take a look on the outside, make sure things look good. Also useful to the extent it gives you an idea about where to go. All right. I would like to turn left here, but I don't want to kill this guy. Sure, re-verify that our... Oops, parking brake's on. Okay. I don't want to kill this guy who's standing right here, so I'm going to have to go to the right. A little differential braking. Make a sharper turn. All right. So we'll just follow these blue arrows over to runway 10. No shortage of airport vehicles driving around. Who knows what those two black vans are? They look rather intimidating. So this looks like a tight squeeze if you ask me. I don't know what the hell this thing is to our right. I'm going to use a little executive authority here and go around the 10-foot wide 10-foot wide road with two giant planes and a parking structure or something. I'll follow that van. How's that for an idea? Follow that van to the runway. All right. There you go. See, he's going the right way. I'm going to follow him. Okay. So we'll hang a left. See, we're about 0.4 of a mile from the runway threshold. Differential braking. Differential braking is useful on when you need to make sharper turns. It's where one wheel brakes but the other doesn't, and it's very useful on turns like that. That used to plague me when I would make turns in this sim, and I'd just inevitably be long or wide. So this is kind of nifty here. You see this on the MFD. You can see where we are. Pink line obviously representing where we're going to be going. I'll zoom that out after we take off, or actually I'll zoom it out once we get ready for takeoff. But it's useful for navigating the runway, or rather the airport, taxiways and so forth. So just by way of confirmation, you'll see that on the PFD, we are exactly opposite the heading we'll have when we're taking off, which is what you'd expect. Since we're going this way to turn around. Make sure we're trimmed for takeoff. I think we are. Now I gotta warn you in advance, I'm using an old Thrustmaster because you can't get a flight controller to save your life these days. And hey, listen, I mean, it works, but I do notice that the rudder is twitchy, so fair warning on takeoff.
Boise Tower Dare November 343 Whiskey Bravo at runway 10 left ready for takeoff IFR to Medford. Dare November 343 Whiskey Bravo cleared for takeoff runway 10 left.
Okay, so we're good to go. Before we take the runway, we will
cleared for takeoff runway 10 left.
light up
Dare
like a
November
Christmas
343
tree. We'll
Whiskey Bravo.
turn on all our lights so we're hard to miss. And flaps for takeoff. There you go. All right. Confirm. I like to just sort of check on it from the outside. Yep. See, the flaps are one notch in. Let's get out on that runway. One other thing I like to do on takeoff. Oh, there's an airplane out there. Thought I turned off all the AI traffic. Now we'll use differential braking here to hang a sharp left along with the rudder. And there we are, runway 10 left. One last thing I like to do right before I take off is... Actually, I normally would do this over at the ramp, but I'll set our vertical speed. Arm that. I haven't activated the autopilot yet, so set this for about 2,000. I'll switch over to the FLC, this button right here, but when I initially activate the autopilot, it's nice to not have it start plunging towards the earth. Instead, it grabs this VS command right there at 2,000, see, and maintains a nice steady climb. Then I'll sync the heading indicator. Right now you see the heading bug over here. This blue thing right here is at north, due north. So we'll sync that to our current actual heading. Now it's 098, and then we're good to go. So once we take off, I'll activate the autopilot, activate heading control, and vertical speed will automatically activate by virtue of activating the autopilot, and it should make it smooth. We'll activate our inertial separator. We don't need our pitot stuff yet. It's warm out. Holy mackerel, 30 degrees outside. Warm there, like it's 111 degrees outside right now. So this is one at my house in real life. So one more reason to be inside doing Flight Simulator. All right, enough chatter. Here we go. Rotate about, I think it's about 90, 80 to 90. That little bell we heard was just a reminder that our inertial separator is on. Nothing to be alarmed about. See that twitchy rudder? Okay, verticals or airspeed's active. We're at 85. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Flying the runway heading right now. Flaps in. Now we'll activate the autopilot. Should grab the vertical speed indicator.
Air 3 Whiskey Bravo, contact Boise departure on 119.6.
Also activated heading indicator.
119.6.
See, that's keeping us straight on here. Now we're good to go right
Boise
now.
Departure Dare November 343 Whiskey Bravo is at 3,700 feet, climbing 11,000 feet.
Stable takeoff. We'll switch over to nav
Dare
control.
November 343 Whiskey Bravo, Boise departure continue as planned. Altimeter 30.04.
So you see, here we are. We're now following the pre-loaded GPS course to Medford. by switching from HDG from here to NAV, which I previously linked via this FMS, we're following that. So time to turn the inertial separator off. We can zoom out here on this, or a yaw damper. I just noticed this. You see this flashing yellow? Autopilot on, yaw damper off. So we'll activate our yaw damper. So we'll zoom, oops. So the annunciator here on the prop RPM flashed for a second, but we're okay. Let's increase our power now. We're high enough above the houses that don't need any noise abatement. Switch to FLC and we'll increase this to 190. Which I find to be a good climb out rate. And we're going to zoom out on this MFD display. Now we should be there we go. Sorry, I was starting to get nervous. Should have been started our right turn there, but here we go. Sometimes when you're zoomed in really far on that MFD, everything's moving really fast because you're only looking at things at a mile scale. So when we're making our nice right turn here, reconfirming flaps up, reconfirming landing gear up, pressurization's good, landing lights, time to take those off, leave the rest of our lights on, and I mean, gosh, I don't mean to get casual about this, for somebody that grew up playing this game back in the 80s, I look at what I'm looking at right now and my jaw is on the floor. I'll be honest. So I'll use the VFR map occasionally just to kind of get my bearings. So we'll see here, we're going to turn left and intercept this course. Probably should turn on half bank. Seen other people use that, so it's not so extreme with some of these turns, but what do I care? There's the airport out there, so if you see from our position, it should be at about, oh, I don't know, 2 o'clock. It's going to be out there somewhere. Go exterior. There it is. See it right there. That's where we just took off from. That's where we just took off from. So we're doing our climb now. Right now, the FLC set to 190, meaning that the onboard autopilot is instructed to maintain 190 knots. I'm noticing that that is giving us a 900 foot per minute rate of climb, which I'm not satisfied with because this TBM knows how to really rock it up. So let's not get so greedy. Let's take it back to 175. And you'll notice, of course, it overreacts at first, as always. But you'll see now our vertical speed is starting to settle down here at about, what, probably going to end up about 1,400. 1,500. So that's considerably steeper rate of, there you go, 1,400. Considerably steeper rate of climb than where we were, which I like. So, a few other things to take note of. Current outside air temperature is 24 degrees. This right here is our the waypoint we're coming from, so D last, Delta Lima Alpha Sierra Tango. If you look at that over here, there it is, D last. And then the one we're heading towards, Olabi, is 264 miles at a bearing of 241, so roughly
Air Tree
west-southwest.
Whiskey Bravo, climb and maintain flight level 240. Climb and maintain flight level 240, Air Tree Whiskey Bravo.
So we'll adjust our climb to 240, but I'll do it more than that because I know what's going to happen. See, we lost our vertical speed, or I'm sorry, we lost our FLC. Okay, good. So it's starting to climb again. Again, it kind of overcompensates, but it's settling down now, back to 1400 roughly. Anyway, we're going to Olaby, which is 261 nautical miles an hour away at a bearing of 241, roughly west-southwest, which is consistent with what you see here on the compass. That's south 180. That's west 270.
Air Tree Whiskey Bravo, contact Salt Lake Center on 118.05.
So they're handing us off now to the next ATC.
Going to 118.05, Air Tree Whiskey Bravo. Salt Lake Center, Dare November, Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo is climbing through 12,100 feet for flight level 240. Dare November, Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo, Salt Lake Center, continue as planned. Altimeter 29.99.
2999. So
Air
let's.
Tree Whiskey Bravo, contact Salt Lake Center on 128.05. 128.
Jesus, they just handed us off, and now they're handing us off again. I find the ATC real tiresome, to be honest. I cannot imagine playing this where I'm having to do the radio settings myself. I mean, screw that. I handed that off to the AI right as soon as I set this game up. I handed that off to the AI. Screw that bullshit. I'm not going to sit around tinkering with radio dials. Especially when it's still so buggy. I mean, I have tried a million different approaches in terms of how to handle IFR flights, and it's just really, I mean, God, you never know what the cat's gonna drag in. So, again, I'm not complaining. You think what it is they were undertaking here and putting this thing together, it's a miracle. Anyway, as I was about to say before we were interrupted, is we're now 254 miles from Olaby. Now you might say, well, what's Olaby? Well, Olaby's an intersection. It's a waypoint on the way to where we're going. And there you go. See it? There's Olaby. So Olaby is where we will begin what appears to obviously be a right turn to, I guess the next one is Leaf and then Aklob, and that'll take us northwest, and then we'll just flip a UE and follow these waypoints into what's marketed anyway as an ILS approach, runway 14 at Medford. I'll believe it when I see it. Either way, we can do what's called an RNAV approach, follow these intersections: Sami, Fista, Amase, Osage, and so forth. So basically what that means is that we're 250 miles from what will be the beginning of our approach. Now, I don't know if it's what we call the TOD, or top of descent. Well, who am I kidding? What's called the top of descent. There's ways to figure that stuff out. It's still beyond me. But clearly, what I'm interpreting that to mean is that by the time we get to Olaby, it's showtime. It's time to get ready for our approach and landing. Still climbing 1,500 feet per minute right now. Very good. These things are rocking. And this airplane, I mean, it really moves. Beautiful outside. I mean, look at this. Holy cow. I mean, what a great day to fly. Holy smokes. I mean, I've flown halfway across the country today. From Duluth, Minnesota this morning into Boise, and from Boise to Medford. I mean, I remain charmed as ever by the Cessna 172 and the Beechcraft, etc. But wowzers, is it nice to be able to get into a plane that really hauls ass. So anyway, we're clearing flight level 180 at this time. So we'll switch over to standard barometric pressure, 2.902. Transition altitude 18,000 feet, where they switch over to standard barometric pressure. Moving right along. 238 knots true. Ground speed 236. So TAS is true airspeed. GS is ground speed. I'm no expert, but I'd say that's probably about 275 miles an hour, roughly. We are at 3 degrees outside air temperature. No signs at all of icing. So not really any reason to deal with our icing equipment, but we're below freezing, 0 degrees now, and it's only going to keep going down. The ISA is the International Standard Atmosphere, ISA. It's like a standardized reference to performance temperatures, as I understand it. So the lower this is, the more the aircraft can perform. Anyway, I'll turn on. You'll notice over here we're still getting a reference to the fact that we're not using our pitot heat or stall warning heat. So I'll turn those on. Not because I'm especially alarmed about ice. I mean, look outside. These aren't exactly icing conditions. But your pitot indicator goes down mid-flight, you're gonna have a bad day. Honestly, I don't know what the argument would be for not always running it. Why not always have your pitot heat on? I don't know. I've flown real aircraft on several occasions. I do not have a PPL, but when I was in school, my boss had a Piper Malibu, beautiful plane, and he knew I was in aviation even then, and he would let me second seated, right seated from San Jose. So we would fly in the south of San Jose Airport near Gilroy down to John Wayne, Orange County and back. And that was a lot of fun. So I've flown and landed an aircraft. He always handled the takeoffs. But I've flown and landed aircraft at exactly 2 airports and enjoyed the heck out of it. Anyway, you see we are still on course. We're at 30. This map right now is ranged to 35 nautical miles, which is fine. It will go out to 200 nautical miles and go in to half a nautical mile. You see, it's interesting. When you do it half a nautical mile, we're actually a little bit off the track. But I like to keep it between 20 and 30. 20 and 35.
Air Tree Whiskey Bravo, climb and maintain flight level 260. Climb and maintain flight level 260 to Air Tree Whiskey Bravo.
260 is our cruising altitude that I selected in my IFR plan, so we'll be cruising at 26,000 feet. Once we get to that cruising altitude, the FLC will go off and we'll be able to increase our airspeed since we're no longer climbing. Right now the distance to Olabi, which again you'll remember is our waypoint for when we start to get ready to prep for approach, 224 nautical miles away. The MFD will give us an estimated time of arrival, 0045 UTC, uniform time code. Current time is 2354. So at our current speed, it's about 50 minutes. But watch what happens to that ETA as we level out here at 26,000. Notice our airspeed now starting to climb. Check our torque percentage, 91, that's fine. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This thing out here houses the TBM's weather radar. We're not going to need it today, but it can be useful. Switch over to weather. This will depict in front of you horizontally any weather, and then you can actually switch to vertical too. Any weather. We don't have any weather, so it makes it easy. Airspeed creeping up here. Let's see if we can coax a few more horses out of this. Down to 89. Let's see if we can take it up to 95, 92, 95, 96%. Nice. That's good. You don't want to go too high or you'll overheat the engine. So anyway, if you recall, remember what our estimated time of arrival was before? 0044. Now we're at 0036. Because the airplane is going faster, we're going to get there faster. Estimated time en route, ETE, estimated time en route, 40 minutes. Notice this is not going down in a linear fashion, second by second. It's faster than second by second. And that's because the airplane's still gaining speed slowly. So it's correcting when it is computing our arrival time to be. Wild. Alright, so we're just in cruise mode here. I'm going to kill the mic. Try to take some good shots from the outside. Look out the windows here. What I expect to be a uneventful flight to Medford, Oregon. Landing in about, I'll estimate about 50 minutes, 50 minutes. Just guessing there, but check in soon. Hello again. One of the things I enjoy doing, probably because I'm weird, on these flights is when I see geographical features, I like to check them out and see what is it. So I pulled up, anyway, for whatever reason, it doesn't have a normal GPS where you zoom out and see exactly where you are on the state maps and highways and that sort of thing. So you got to be a little bit of a detective. So I pull up the VFR map, and you see here we are, and then there's ILR. That's a VOR, which is a navigation aid. So I pull up that, and I find or learn that it's in Burns, Oregon. So I pull up Burns, Oregon on Google Maps, or Bing, excuse me, sorry Microsoft, and I see that this lake just south of Burns, Oregon is called Malheur Lake, M-A-L-H-E-U-R, Malheur Lake. There it is, inside. There it is. It's kind of fun to be able to explore these things and to really not test, but take advantage of the incredible satellite imagery that's preloaded onto this sim. All right, moving right along. Estimated time on route now 29 minutes, just 29 minutes. So nice flight, quick flight from Boise to Medford, Oregon. Not only is it a zillion degrees here in LA, apparently, according to the METAR data for Medford, 97 degrees there, so winds are calm. So the good news is the winds are calm. The bad news is I'm not going to be escaping the heat that much, although 97 is better than what we have in my backyard right now, which according to my weather station is, let's see, 106.7. Death Valley called. They want their weather back. I mean, it gets warm here in Southern California in September, but it's been ridiculous. Hey, the big hope is that I don't get my power turned off. Welcome to California. That could happen. We've been put on notice. Fingers crossed, because that'll make this trip much shorter than it's supposed to be. All right, mic off. Relax. Enjoy the flight.
27.15 Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo. Seattle Center Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo Flight Level 260. Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo Seattle Center continue as planned. Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo contact Seattle Center on 127.6. Going to 127.6 Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo. Seattle Center Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo Flight Level 260. Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo Seattle Center continue as planned.
So checking in again, again as a testament to maybe the extent to which this game appeals to people of a certain nature, but I noticed we were flying over this lake, kind of curious, and it's good to be curious, right? Endlessly curious. This lake right here. There it is, right? Well, I learned that is called Lake Abert, or Abert Lake, also known as A-B-E-R-T, which Wikipedia describes as a large, shallow, alkali lake in Lake County, Oregon. 15 miles long, 7 miles wide, 3 miles northeast of Valley Falls, Oregon. Named in honor of Colonel John James Abert by explorer John C. Fremont during his 1843 expedition into Central Oregon. No fish live in the alkaline waters of the lake. However, its dense population of brine shrimp support a variety of shorebirds. Huh. What do you know? 820 square mile catchment, 57 square mile surface area. But I thought this was funny. Its maximum depth is 11 feet. Talk about shallow. And it's at a surface elevation of 4,259 feet. So high up there. There it is, Lake Abert. Lake Abert. I guarantee you I will never see Lake Abert in real life. And with all due respect to the brine shrimp who live there, I don't think I'm missing anything. We are 92 nautical miles from Olaby. 15 minutes before it starts to get busy. Might actually start getting busier before then as they vector us in to begin our descent. I've noticed that IFR descents in Flight Simulator 2020 are always a bit of an adventure. Because you never know exactly what the autopilot's going to do. So you have to be ready to take charge and handle the situation. On a day like this, though, I'm not especially worried. I can hand fly this. I mean, if I weren't at 26,000 feet, it's practically, I mean, it is VFR conditions, visual flight rule conditions. So look around. Cool. CAVU, I think, is President Bush 41 used to call it. CAVU, Ceiling and Visibility Unlimited. Look at this. Beautiful day. I love the sun visor there. That's sweet. All right, 2 more minutes of cruise time, and then we'll begin our descent into Medford.
Bravo, descend and maintain flight level 180. Descend and maintain flight level 180, Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
All right, so we are, as predicted, beginning our descent. So I'm going to use the altitude select indicator to take us down to 18,000, but I'll do the same thing. I'll jump it a little bit, make it 17.3. Actually, no, I'll be a good boy. 18,000 vertical speed down at, let's say, 1,800 feet per minute. Pull back on the throttle a little bit. 1,800 feet per minute confirmed. You see here on the MFD, you see KLMT, Kilo Lima Mike Tango, is Klamath Falls in Oregon. And this lake I was checking is called Lake Iwana, another lake I probably will never see. But you can actually see it on this topographical depiction, which ironically is what the old flight simulator used to look like. It literally was like this. That's what it was like, without all the dials and numbers. This is what the old one was like. But outside, out there, so we're descending now to 18,000. Big mountain out here, quite a summit. It's in the Cascades. Trying to figure out what that would be. Quite a noticeable peak out there. Cut back on throttle a little bit more. Take it down to 210. That be? I suppose it's Mount St. Helens to you. Or Mount... Could it be Mount Hood? I don't even know where Mount Hood is. I mean, I think it's in Oregon. I don't know. Lots to explore. In this game. Part of the fun. Oh, right, well, I have to focus on flying, so I am curious though, what the hell is... I'm gonna have to figure that out after I land. What is that? That is no temple of a peak. I mean, that is heavy duty. Wow. It is Mount St. Helens. I mean, we're in the vicinity. Okay, anyway, we are airspeed 214, 19,000, descending 18,000, flight level 180. It's warming up outside, 6 degrees Celsius. I'm using this new monitor, 49-inch monitor. It's phenomenal. It's so immersive. I mean, sometimes I honestly find myself looking to the right and looking to the left. right, now we're leveling out at 180. You see our airspeed is dropping.
Bravo, descend and maintain 10,000 feet.
So now they're taking us down to 10,000.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
So we'll go down to 10,000. We'll engage our vertical speed control. Maintain 1,500 feet per minute. Watch that airspeed. Keep it conservative. That's Klamath, I presume. It's obviously a city. I'm just desperately curious. I'll figure it out once I land. I'm going to spend at least 5 minutes figuring out what the hell mountain that is. That'd be a hoot if it is Mount St. Helens. Alright, so we're going to... Whoa! Oh god, this mouse wheel's really... I mean, I have no idea what I just changed. Let's correct our barometer. 30.14, consistent with the high pressure weather we're dealing with. There's that lake. Let's zoom in here. Don't need to be zoomed out that far. So there's Olaby, just 3.5 minutes away before we'll make our right turn and begin our approach. Airspeed looks good. Hello, Klamath. There's the airport at Klamath. A little bumpy, getting a little chop. Knocking us around a little bit. 15,000 feet, 500, 15.5, 212, descending at 1,500 feet per minute. What I will do now is program in the ILS for the runway on which we will be landing this morning, or this afternoon, I should say, which is runway 14. And by going to airnav.com, I'm able to confirm that the ILS for that runway is 110.3, with an approach course of 143. So we'll go over here. Navcom, audio and radios, 1103, enter, swap, so now we've, ooh, we're getting bumped around here, aren't we? So I've programmed in the ILS frequency for the runway at which we will be landing. And so, put it in perspective for you, we'll use the VRF map. VRF, my dyslexia is showing. Once we turn and get onto the final approach fix, SAMI, I'll switch over to nav. Instead of using GPS, I'll use the radio to fly us in, and I'll press the approach button, APR, you see right there. Oh god, the mouse wheel's like your worst enemy. At any moment you stand at risk of radically altering the trajectory of the aircraft. Anyway, we know that the ILS frequency for runway 14 is 110.3 with an approach course of 143. About dead on southeast. Okay, we are at Olaby now. We are turning to our next waypoint, which is Leaf, and then Aklob. A lot of inside jokes on these waypoints in terms of what they're called. Sometimes the guys name them after their girlfriends. Other times they have other, even more salacious meanings. Boy, look at that. Terrain features. Incredible. Wow. That's sort of oddly pixelated though. What's with this? It looks like a checkerboard. Okay, now it's, there you go. Okay, now it's starting to correct. Look at this thing. I need to know my Oregon mountains better. Holy Christ, look at that thing. All right, airspeed's good. 210, we're at 10,000 as directed. I wouldn't want to be much lower. God almighty. Following still the approach. See, here we are. We're going to go like that. A big U-turn.
Whiskey Bravo, descend and maintain 7,000 feet.
Are you sure about that?
Descend and maintain 7,000 feet, Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
7,000 feet. 3,000 feet from here down? My God, that puts me in the trees.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, contact Seattle Center on 124.85.
All right, 7,000 feet it is.
124.85 for Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Man, we're getting bounced around like we're in a washing machine.
Seattle Center, Dare November Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo is out of 10,000 feet for 7,000 feet.
So I'm going to
Dare
be...
November Tree 43
Hold on, one
Whiskey
second,
Bravo,
hold on.
Seattle Center, continue to Takeoff as planned.
Aklob.
Altimeter 30.14.
3014. Good, that's confirmed. 3014. Anyway, I'm going to take it conservatively on this approach because I don't know, descending another 3,000 feet down to 7,000. That ground looks awfully close. So I am descending, but I'm going to descend at 500 feet per minute. Not get excited here. So there we are. We're making our right turn now. We've got to Aklob, turning right. Wow.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, please expedite.
I knew that was coming.
7,000 feet.
They're pissed off because I'm not descending fast enough. Look, guys, I just don't want to end up part of
Whiskey
them.
Bravo, you are 28 miles east. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 14 approach via Sammy transition. Cleared to Sammy.
So there you go. So
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 14 approach via Sammy transition. Cleared to Sammy Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
So there you go, as predicted. Sammy. There's Sammy. So we're cleared direct to Sammy, which is basically what I'm going to do. I forgot about the fun of flying in the western part of the U.S. in terms of the mountains. No offense to those in the interior of the country, but from an airplane at altitude, a lot of it's pretty darn flat as a poker table. Anyway, as I was saying, as we round that turn here and connect with Sammy, I will switch over from what we are right now, which is on a GPS.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, please expedite your descent to 7,000 feet.
All right, god damn it. And I'll switch over to nav. I'm already on nav, but it's nav via GPS. I will switch to nav via the radio, which I've already pre-programmed in, 110.3, which, as I mentioned, is the frequency for that runway, 14. And then it'll just fly us in, which on a day like this we don't really need, but...
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, contact Cascade approach on 124.3.
if it were cloudy,
124.3 for Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
that's your best friend.
Cascade approach Dare November Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo is at 8,200 feet, descending 7,000 feet. Dare November Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo, Cascade approach, continue to Sammy as planned. Altimeter tree 0.14.
So you see my settings are showing up here because you're seeing this patchwork quilt. But still, you look at these thousands of trees that it's actually putting in there. I mean, these are not... This autogen is incredible. Wow. .3014 confirmed. We are at 7,500. Descending 7,000. Airspeed's good. Little valley right there. That's cool. Town. A couple houses, not a town, I guess. Start slowing us down a little bit. Take us down to 190. Descending at 900 feet per minute. Leveling off at 7,000. That will slow our airspeed down nicely. What did I pitch this flight as? Oh, just over an hour? We're at about an hour and 20 since we got in the airplane, but we were sitting around talking in the ground there, so I don't think we'll be too far off. Our estimated time en route to Sammy is only 6 minutes, so, and once we're at Sammy, we are on final. There's no turning back at that point. The runway should be right at about our 10 o'clock. Out there somewhere. You can tell that because here we are. 9 o'clock would be that. There's the airport. It's out there somewhere. Presumably somewhere in this valley. Speed, keep it about 190. Wow. Look at that autogen. Look at all those trees. That's awesome. Airspeed solid at 190. We're still at 7,000 feet. This runway is about 2,500 feet. Oh, I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I just reconfirmed with my AirNav chart. Airport elevation 1335. Remains to be seen whether ATC will actually vector us down further. It's real buggy. I mean, I never know what it's going to do. So you got to pay attention. It's always a little dicey flying into mountains like this. Well, actually, let's hope we don't fly into any mountains, but flying into mountainous areas. Always a little dicey. Some nice clouds. On a day like this, it's not a problem, but you can see how you got to be smart when it comes to flying in adverse weather. Not so much in the simulator, but since you can't die. Although I pride myself on not crashing. This is the same airplane that I took off in from John Wayne Airport in Orange County, KSNA, Kilo Sierra November Alpha. Same plane. Haven't crashed. So I'm a purist when it comes to that. Don't screw around, you know. There's plenty of room to do that in Flight Simulator, but if you're doing a around the country circuit like I am, be serious about it. That's how I see it. I'm hoping they start clearing me to descend. I've had this happen before where they stop talking to me and I'm too high, so it's a pretty little lake right there. The approach chart says that I should be at 7,000 at Sammy, so that's good. The next one, the next waypoint, Vista. See here, Vista. According to the approach chart, I should be at 5,700. And then at Amase, or Amaze, whatever, 4,600. And then Osage, 3,900. So the 7,000 foot altitude that we're at right now is by the books. There's the checkerboard again. If I get this thing up to ultra, I might be able to... Oh, see, now it's resolving. Might be able to do something with that. Okay, so we're going to start making a nice big left turn. Let's start cutting our airspeed a little bit. Here we go. Wow, beautiful country. I've been to Oregon before. I went to Portland.
Air Tree Whiskey Bravo, contact Seattle Center on 124.85.
Where I would never go today, by the way.
Going to 124.85 Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
I'm too
Seattle
scared.
Center, Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo, 7,000 feet. Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo, Seattle Center, continue to Sammy as planned. Altimeter tree 0.1 tree.
3013. Let's adjust that. Okay, here we go with our left turn. Great, it's going to track this. Nice out. Don't need any heat. 21 degrees out. Hey, I wish it would stay at 21 degrees. This is nice up here. 7,000 feet. It's going to be a hell of a lot warmer once we get down there. Always check the missed approach info in case we have to do that, which is climb to 6,600. On a climbing right turn, 350. But I don't think we're going to have any missed approaches. Wow, look at the trees. I cannot believe how many trees must this sim be depicting right now. Thousands. And see, this looks fine right now. When you zoom in on it, you see kind of what they're doing. The technologically, game-wise, to render it. So we're in our nice, sweeping, gentle left turn. We had 7,000 at Sammy. Zoom in a little bit more. Reconfirm our ILS is set. Here we go. Our left turn towards Sammy. 7,000 feet steady, 180. Bumping around. Got some good chop over here, up over these mountains.
Bravo, descend and maintain 5,700 feet.
So per the approach chart, they're clearing us down.
5,700 feet, Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Step down to the next altitude, although I prefer to stay at 7,000 until Sammy. Descend at 700 feet per minute. You know, in real life, you know, you'd think that air traffic control would never clear you into a mountainside, but I can't say the same about Flight Simulator. So, I'm not going to deny my lion eyes. Boy, look at the sunlight, the way it plays across the... Wow, and the turbulence is wild. Look at this. Nice. You can see why they're bringing you in at 7,000. Be much lower and you're going to be part of the mountain.
Bravo, contact Cascade approach on 124.3. 124.3 Dare, Tree Whiskey Bravo. Cascade approach Dare, November, Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo is at 6,400 feet, descending 5,700 feet. Dare, November, Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo, Cascade approach, continue to Vista as planned. Altimeter tree 0.13.
Cleared to Vista. Here's Sammy. Should be at 7,000 feet at Sammy, but ATC's got us at 6,130. We'd be lower than that if I hadn't had a conservative descent rate. I'm going to make it even more conservative. 300 feet per minute. Anyway, once we cross Sammy, I'm switching over to ILS once we get landing clearance. And there's the airport. There it is. Right on schedule. Let's turn our landing lights on. And let's slow us down even more. Okay, now we're headed downhill now at this point. You can see the mountains are sloping downwards into the valley, so we're safe from terrain. I cannot get over the way the sunlight plays on the terrain, the way the sunlight plays on the instrument panel. It's just incredible. All right, ATC, we're at 5,700 per direction. You don't give me permission, I'm jumping the ILS myself. I bet you once we cross Vista, something happens. They're going to give us landing clearance, or tell us to contact tower. Let's see. 150, maintain 150.
Dare, Tree Whiskey Bravo, descend and maintain 4,600 feet.
Down to 4,600, 3 Whiskey Bravo.
Descend and maintain 4,600 feet, Dare, Tree Whiskey Bravo.
So there's no visual, I mean there's visual confirmation that we're safe from terrain. So, descending to 4,600 as instructed. There's the runway. We are headed straight towards it. Going too fast though. Start slowing down. And I bet you maybe when we get to this amase or amaze, amase sounds like a sushi dish. Yummy. We'll get handed off to the tower, I hope. Boom. Bounced around. Again, reconfirming.
Whiskey Bravo, you are 11 miles north of Medford. Contact Medford Tower on 119.4 when inbound on the approach.
All right, hand it off to tower.
Tower on 119.4 Dare, Tree Whiskey Bravo. Medford Tower, Dare, November, Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo, 11 miles north inbound ILS runway 14 approach. Dare, November, Tree 43 Whiskey Bravo, Medford Tower. Cleared ILS runway 14 approach. Altimeter tree 0.12, wind 09 tree at 5.
3012.
Cleared ILS runway 14 approach Dare, Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Winds are 0903 out of the east, so we got a little wind now. Nothing big, no big deal. Now we're going to switch over to nav. Now we've got the ILS. Let's see how it changed from pink to magenta to green. Now we're going to click approach, and now it's going to take over. So this green diamond right here signifies our glide slope.
Landing gear.
Actually, that's a good
Landing gear.
point. Gear down. And that means we need to descend. You want this green diamond right dead center. All right, here we go. Pop up a little bit so we can see it better. Got our lights on already. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And once this speed indicator gets down into that white arc, we will deploy our flaps, which will help slow us down. We're still too high, but nothing to worry about. It's going to descending right now to intercept that glide slope.
Air Tree Whiskey Bravo, cleared to land runway 14.
Clear to land.
09 at 5.
Clear to land.
Cleared to land
Bravo.
runway 14, Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Turn off these. Don't need them anymore. So it's such a nice day. That O means the outer marker indicator. I think I'm ready to take control of this airplane. All right, so we're going to hand fly it in. You see the green diamond is now starting to creep up, indicating that we are coming into the glide slope. Autopilot off. I have the airplane. Beautiful day. Perfect day. Reconfirming 3 in the green. Landing gear is down. Make sure everything's okay on the outside. Everything's good except for no flaps, so flaps deployed almost within specs. Ooh, we got a good little bounce out of that. So you can't see it, I know, and you can see it on my screen, but we got the poppy right there is 3 whites and 1 red, so now 2 whites and 2 red. A little too slow there. Let's get that airspeed back up to 80, at least 85. 2 whites, 2 red on those lights on the left side of the runway are what you want. Means you're at the right glide slope. Got 2 whites, 2 red. Whoa! Wind. Gotta pop up even higher here. Now 3 whites, 1 red. Getting thrown around by this wind. A little too high now. No problem though. Nice long runway. Ooh, holy Moses. Feeling that crosswind. So it went kind of long there on the landing, but with a nice long runway, it ended up not being an issue. Definitely felt the crosswind on that one. You noticed I was kind of fighting it, turned to the right a little bit. Although that crosswind coming out of 09 or 0, I don't know. Okay.
Whiskey Bravo, turn next taxiway.
Yeah, I'm turning. Exit.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo contact ground on 121.8.
Contact
121.8
ground.
for Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Come to a full stop while they do that, and kill the light, kill the landing lights, kill the pulse lights. Ground. Supposed to do that automatically, but okay. Taxi to parking.
Medford ground, Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo request taxi to parking. Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha.
Bring in those
Taxiing
flaps.
to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Don't need to be popped up so high anymore. So, a safe flight from Boise to Medford. Uneventful. Some nice scenery along the way. Spend the night here in Medford and head south to the Bay Area tomorrow. I learned something. Oh boy, there's a light right in the middle of the taxiway. Whoops, thunk. There's still bugs in this. Learn something every time I fly in this game. I learn something. I had to disabuse myself of being under the impression that everything had to be perfect all the time, or I was doing something wrong.
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo, hold position, caution, other traffic.
Oh, stop it. That van, they want me to hold for that
Hold
van.
position, Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
I ain't holding anything.
Dare Tree
Shitwit.
Whiskey Bravo, continue taxi. Roger, Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Alright. Hang a right here. There's Gary. And that's that. Parking brake.
Aural warning, okay.
Lights. Turn that off. And that. Make sure we've got all that's off. Pressure. And there we are. Welcome to Medford. There we are. All right. It was fun. Ciao.